If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right. We are back on Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOCDALI. So I've been going to the gym enough, I know it doesn't show, where I have kind of gained a appreciation for people that have good gym etiquette and a frustration for those people who don't. And, I was at the gym again yesterday, and I just figured maybe, we should talk about it, because I think you would think everybody got the memo. I used to in college work out at Gold's Gym, and I preferred Gold's Gym to some of the other ones because those were people who really knew how to be at a gym. They knew how to use the equipment. They knew to clean it off. They knew not to bang the weights and make noises. Whereas some of the other places, you had a lot of newbies. You also had people looking for, a date. And so there was a lot of peacocking or strutting, your newly cosmetic surgeried figure. And I'm like, look, I just want to work out and with some serious people. And it's interesting because I love my gym. My gym is it's great because, I get to see a lot of the Golden Knights there and stuff. So it's a great gym, and it's in my neighborhood, my housing neighborhood. What I like about that is, one, you got plenty of space, but two, the majority of people know what they're doing. But every now and then there's somebody who just, first and foremost, don't excessively grunt. That drives people crazy. Ugh. I mean, come on. Okay, really? I'm looking. That was a 25-pound weight. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm pressing at least 75, and you don't hear me, although I used to be able to bench press my weight. Now I couldn't put my back through that. But if I'm using some of the weights or some of the, I'm going to, lower it, of course. But gosh, these noises people are making. And again, it's because they're, trying to let other people know that they're there. Like, yeah, that was good weight. Another thing I don't like is hearing the weights clamp. I sometimes accidentally do that. So like when I'm on my final rep, sometimes you'll like ding, you'll hear the weight hit the other weight. Try to not do that because people don't want to hear that. There was somebody yesterday that would just drop them. And so every few seconds you would hear a drop, and it's distracting, and it doesn't matter what music you're listening to, you hear that. Another thing that I think drives us crazy, of course, wipe off the sweat. That's just, clean it off. You shouldn't really be sweating on the equipment. Okay. You should, but just, wipe down, clean it off, throw your towel away, or there's always a towel, a bin for you to put your dirty towel. Don't just leave it there. But one thing that also drives me crazy is, so my gym isn't as big as, some of these gyms. So we have 2 row machines. We have a couple, we have treadmills, and we have some stair steppers, but there's always somebody that is sitting there on their phone, and they're not necessarily working out. I mean, they might do just a little bit. And so there was a machine I wanted to use, and this person was on his phone for 30 minutes while sitting on the machine, and he was hardly doing a workout. I mean, he wasn't, breaking a sweat, and I'm like, I want to use that machine, but I didn't want to, and I think I'm of the age now where I'm like, excuse me, sir, how much longer are you going to be on that? But I could have used the one next to him. I just didn't want to. be right next to him. I don't mind. If it's a busy day, I'll work out next to somebody. But, you have this kind of guy that's just sitting there on the phone. I'm like, I don't want to sit next to him and do my cycling or whatever. So, other thing is, don't leave your crap where like you're going to get off and like people will leave their phones, people will leave their stuff there. I don't like unsolicited advice or commentary. If you know what you're doing, okay, and you say, look, this might help. If you want to kind of work on your traps, if you want to, work on your triceps, you might want to do it this way. I don't mind that. But when you don't know what you're talking about and you're trying to do that to start up conversation, no, like you're mansplaining to me. Actually, let me give you some pointers. You could do it this way. And now they're in your space. And you're like, okay, thank you. I want to work out. Thank you. Yeah, well, let's see how you do. Right. You always have somebody that comes up and he's like, okay, well, do it this way. And then they stand there and watch to see if you're going to follow their directions. And I don't want to follow your directions. Maybe I have an old injury. Maybe it's because I don't want to face you. I have my back to you. So I'm doing the exercises towards the equipment because I don't want to be looking at your stupid ass with the other guy with the phone, and then they're like, well, and you're trying to be nice, but and then of course you're like, okay, well, let me just get through it. So they leave. And then you do the move or whatever they want you. And then like, no, you're doing it wrong. And now you're engaged with this person. Yeah. And you're looking around going, and so what I'll do is I'll say, you know what? I'm actually done with arms. I'm done with upper body. So thank you though. You taught me a lot. Thank you. And then I just get the hell away. But it's like, come on. And they go, oh, you sure? Do you need any other tips? No, I don't. Thank you though. Hi. Yeah. I also don't like, somebody kind of messing with the, like I'm trying to watch. So like yesterday I was trying to watch, was it the Panther Maple Leaf game was on? Yeah. Because the Jets and Stars game was on later. So I was watching some of that. And then there was somebody go, well, why are we watching this? I want to see this. Or there, it's like, gosh, just, I'm trying to watch the game. So shut the hell up. Okay. That's probably one of the biggest gym etiquettes I could recommend. Shut the hell up. Now, in terms of what you should do from a health perspective, stretch. I see people in a hurry. They run in, they rush in, and they only have their X amount of time. Do your stretches. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to stretch because when you stretch, like when I stretch, I mean, not see my butt, but it's so you could find a corner of the gym, or if you could even do it in the bathroom or showers area where you do your stretching and then come out. But I see people not stretch, and I'm like, you don't want to do that. All right, and then always do a cool down as well. 1-877-Daliah, don't go away.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions: Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer. And big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on X or Twitter at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So we're in allergy season, and boy, are we. And we speak about allergies a lot on the show because I get affected with allergies. And so if I forget to talk about it, all I have to do is sneeze and go, oh, yeah, we got to talk about that. But each year we get the AAFA's allergy capitals, where the cities that are the most affected by allergies and the cities that are the least, shall we say, afflicted. And the 2025 allergy capital list has been released. They rank the 100 most populous cities in the United States by how challenging they are to live, based on pollen allergens, whether they have worse than average tree and grass pollen, worse than average allergy medicine use, and fewer board certified allergists and immunologists. So it's an interesting ranking because it's not just about the pollen levels. They look at, well, how much medicine are these people actually using to control them? And then, do they have good allergy immunology representation? Because they could do allergy shots, they could do maintenance, they could do prevention. So the most challenging cities, number 1 this year was Wichita, Kansas. Number 2 was New Orleans. Number 3 was Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Number 4 was Tulsa, Oklahoma. Number 5 was Memphis, Tennessee. Number 6 was Little Rock, Arkansas. Number 7 for the most challenging cities, Raleigh, North Carolina. 8, Richmond, Virginia. 9, Greensville, South Carolina. And 10 was Greensboro, North Carolina. Now, who were the least challenging cities? Rounding up the least, number 100 was Boston, Massachusetts. Then Salt Lake City came in 99. Akron, Ohio, San Diego, Cleveland, Boise, Provo, Madison, Ogden, Utah, and Denver, Colorado came in number 90. Now, when you look at the report, so I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and so I feel like, I feel like Las Vegas is riddled with it, and I think it's because I went to school here. And I really, really struggled as it pertained to the olive trees. We get a lot of, so it's interesting. People say, well, Daliah, you live in the desert, so you don't have as much pollen. We do. We have weeds. We do have trees. We have a lot of landscaping. There's grasses. Absolutely. And the olive trees kill me. Those are really, really bad. So when you look at some of the states, Orlando, Florida came in 34. Las Vegas came in number 38. And Las Vegas has worse than average specialists. That's why they ranked where they did as number 38. They also have average medicine use, pollen, but, average. And we live in a desert. So it shows you that imagine if we actually had more vegetation. And maybe it's because we're also very windy. So I think that needs to be taken into account. We have a lot of wind. We have a lot of dust. There's a lot of things that get, my house always. I mean, I'm hearing at night our lawn furniture pounding against the house. And it's, because of the wind. So I think the wind definitely holds something. So El Paso, Texas came in number 50. Riverside, California, Daytona Beach, Columbus, Ohio, Toledo, L.A., Portland, San Francisco, all kind of came into the middle. But some of the better cities to live included Chicago, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Spokane, Dayton, Colorado Springs, Rochester, New York, Detroit, Michigan, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, New York. Well, New York usually ranks high because there's not a lot of plants, but because they have a lot of specialists. So what's very interesting is when you look at some of the worst states, that are more rural, like Tulsa, although Tulsa is, Little Rock, Raleigh, part of that is based on the specialists, although New Orleans has a lot of specialists, so that ranked them higher. So allergy season begins roughly when the spring does, but you could start having allergies in January, February. You could have allergies year round. For me, I am really starting to hurt April and May. So I need to start my medication in March. I either get a Kenalog shot or I start my nasal steroid, Flonase. I don't like taking antihistamines every day. But tree pollens start first in January, then they taper off in April. Grass pollen starts to rise in February and March, and then the weeds join the party in the spring and extend through the summer and fall. Ragweed is notorious for causing fall allergies, and fall allergies start mid-August and extend to mid-November. So for those of you with asthma, some of you might say, you know what, I have spring issues, but I also have fall issues. That's why you should be checking in with your doctor 4 times a year, so that at least they can test you and see when your bad season is, and then make sure you're on their preventative medication. So what are allergies? Why do we have them? Well, it's a defense mechanism. Your body wants to spew out something that gets in that's foreign. So if you don't want dust in your body, insects, pollen, these are things that your body rejects. Mold, metals. You could have an allergic reaction to transfused blood, to medication. If the body identifies this as an intruder, a hypersensitivity reaction happens. You get these IgE antibodies that find the allergen. They activate mast cells in the tissue, basophils in the blood. When these cells get activated willy-nilly, they release substances to help protect you, like they'll release histamines and leukotrienes and cytokines. And that helps the body attempt to sneeze and cough and spew out the allergen. Also, it might help it wall off the allergen. Sometimes these things will signal more antibodies. It'll also make tears to flush it out. And so it's a defense mechanism. The problem is sometimes the defense mechanism can hurt you more than help you. So symptoms of allergies are sneezing, coughing, wheezing, runny nose, watery eyes, red eyes, itchy skin, rash, itchy throat, scratchy throat, fatigue, congestion. But sometimes these allergies could get really, really bad, where you start to have swelling and difficulty breathing. And so some people that do, let's say, have a severe peanut allergy or bee sting allergy or severe allergies, or suffer from asthma, COPD, other reactive airway disease, could struggle to the point where they can go into respiratory failure. So people will always say, well, it might be a cold because I feel bad. What's the difference? So colds, especially the common cold, is caused by viruses. So the difference between, to me, allergies and a cold is when I get a cold, I get body aches. I feel sick. I might get a fever. My nose might start to thicken and have yellowish discharge, or if I cough, might be yellow-green. Everybody goes, oh, that means it's bacteria. It could also be viruses. Whereas allergies, it'll be clear. Your nose will be clear. So like with your eyes itching and watering, that might not be a bacterial or a viral pink eye, but because it's clear. Or it might be a uveitis or iritis or something else. So thicker mucus, colored mucus is more of a cold or bacteria, viral or bacteria. And same thing with sore throat. If your throat is sore and you got swollen glands, that's going to be more of a pathogen. As opposed to if it's scratchy or itchy, then that could be more of a allergy. Also, it's cyclical. So I could get sneezy and itchy throat, and then I come home, I take a shower to wash off any pollen, and I notice I feel better. Whereas if I'm sick all day. So if you can actually induce your allergies every time you go out or every time you go on a hike, or, like I'll go to Red Rock. I love Red Rock, but you are surrounded by beautiful vegetation, and then I'll start to sneeze. So if I can make it happen, it's then more allergic. Now, people will always say, well, whenever I get allergies, I get a sinus infection. So it'll lead to a cold. Well, how that might happen is if your immune system is so busy addressing the allergen, its guard might be down. Also, if you do start to have in your sinuses a collection of the fluid that you're using to drain, once there's stasis, you could get viruses or bacteria and other things. So yes, allergies actually can lead to that in some people. But it doesn't mean everybody needs antibiotics. We don't usually give antibiotics for allergies. And many sinus infections could also be viral. So some of the worst offenders, ragweed, mountain cedar, ryegrass, maple, elm, mulberry, pecan, oak, pigweed, Arizona cypress. In terms of trees, alder, ash, beech, birch, box elder, cedar, cottonwood, date palm, elm, mulberry, hickory, juniper, oak, pecan, phoenix palm, red maple, silver maple, sycamore, walnut, willow. And then for grasses, Bermuda, Johnson, Kentucky bluegrass, orchard, ryegrass, sweet vernal grass, and Timothy grass. See, dahlias don't offend anybody. Do you notice that? Dahlias, pretty good. Although there are flowers, the pigweed, chamomile, chrysanthemums, daisies, goldenrod, and sunflowers could also cause allergies. So be aware of your local weather and pollen counts. Avoid pollen outside from coming into your house. Have like a mudroom or clean yourself off. Wash pollen from your hair and clothes. Wear sunglasses and a hat. Close your car. Recirculate your air in your car. And definitely talk to your medical provider about prevention of your symptoms. Look, I taught you guys something. 1-877 Doc Daliah, don't go away.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
in many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We are back on Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Doc Daliah, 1-877 DOCDALI. So you're going to hear terms like Ozempic mouth and Ozempic feet. Remember, we had Ozempic fingers, Ozempic butt, Ozempic face. These are things that seem to phenotypically happen, whereas you're losing weight, your face shape may change, your butt might sag, your fingers may look wrinkly. Well, now they're saying Ozempic mouth is where you develop lines, wrinkles, and sagging loose skin around your mouth, and Ozempic feet is where you develop wrinkles in your feet. Now, these terms are being used as celebrities are being looked at, like with the Met Gala, which, by the way, I didn't watch that. I really have a tough time with these things. I think I watch hockey. The Panthers are playing. Was it the Maple Leafs versus the Panthers? Great game. But I don't know. These watching people spend $75,000 a ticket, all happy that they're rich, in expensive gowns when that money could feed a family for months. It's just hard to watch. And people think that they're God's greatest creations on earth, and I'm just not into that. Sorry, that's just me. Yeah, and some of the dresses and the outfits sucked. They were horrible. But when you look at many of them, their bodies look differently. Some of them, they look like they're starving. Demi Moore, I think, is beautiful. That was a very interesting dress. I think it was supposed to be a tie or something like that. But she's had always a very, very small frame. She had admitted years ago to her diet being 3 Red Bulls a day, I believe, with a teaspoon of tuna fish and I think some celery. I think that was her diet. And she had lost a tooth and or 2 teeth. And I don't really remember the whole story, but it wasn't the healthiest. But people are using Ozempic or semaglutide or Mounjaro, tirzepatide, to lose weight because it does seem to curb cravings, curb appetite. I think a lot of people are using it inappropriately. Many people are being inflicted with GI upset, severe constipation, gallstones from rapid weight loss, and then changes in their skin because they've lost the weight too quickly. Now, your skin is elastic, and it should be able to bounce back when you lose a pound or 2. But if you're losing 20 pounds rapidly, you're going to sag. And it's going to, you're going to look different. And so skin isn't Spanx. And so we are noticing an uptick in people looking for plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery now to deal with the nip tucks that are now needed as a result of the Ozempic use. And so, it doesn't mean anything happens to your feet from a medical standpoint. Doesn't mean your hands and your mouth, but people do look older. Now, George Clooney, I don't know if he's taking semaglutide or not, but all I know is I've done a double take going, wow, he's aged. And he's also very slender. Now, it could just be he lost weight. Now, he's eating healthy. But when people do lose weight, they look older because fat, gets rid of some of the wrinkles. And it's so, people who are heavier appear to look younger. They aren't necessarily healthier, but they look younger. So yes, when you lose the weight, you're going to age. Now, if you could lose weight, but understand that rapid weight loss will sometimes make you look ill. And you want to do everything gradually. And I understand some of us, we need to lose 50 pounds and fast. But if you lose the 50 pounds too quickly and you gain the weight back too quickly, that's a problem. And so, I would, before you get started on something like this, because again, for some people, they're paying $1,000 a month. Talk to your medical provider about what the goals are. Is it that you want to control your blood sugars? Is it because you want to get away from being pre-diabetic? Is it because you're tired of your blood pressure being high? Is it because you have sexual dysfunction? Is it, that you want to look good in a bathing suit? I think many people are feeling left out, that FOMO. And I'm hearing from a lot of people and moms where, this person's on it, this person's on it, they look great, so now I want it. And you see one person do it, everybody wants to do it. It's like when somebody got engaged in your friends group, then everybody wanted to get engaged. Slow down. See if it's the right thing for you. Because the concern I have is I'm seeing a lot of people not only have the GI side effects or the issues paying for it, but they're saying it stopped working. Nobody's talking about in the news how this might stop working and your body may become tolerant to it. What I'm hearing from patients is when they do stop it because they can't afford it if they're not losing any more weight, boy, do they get hungry and boy, do they rebound. So if you are 25 and you want to be skinny when you're 40, you might have to be coming up with another plan than just Ozempic. What's going to be your exercise routine? Are you going to build up your muscle mass? What happens if you stop, getting insurance coverage for the Ozempic and you don't have the $1,000 a month? What happens if you get side effects where your doctor says you can't take this anymore? It's hurting your pancreas. What happens when it just stops working? Now, my recommendation is for people who are using it for diabetes and for, other health metrics, do exactly, obviously, what your doctor says. Okay? If they want you want it, if they don't want you want it, do whatever they say. But for those of you who are like, I want to lose weight, and we got the summer coming up, and we got prom next week, you might want to be a little smart about it. What a lot of people are doing is they're going to the highest dose very quickly. And if you go to the highest dose very quickly, you don't have a lot more room to go. In fact, I had one person say they needed a diet pill on top of their Ozempic because their Ozempic stopped working. And what they want to do is slowly stop the Ozempic while taking the other diet pill. This person's going to gain their weight back. And I'm like, why are you on so high a dose? Are you diabetic? No. It's just I was losing weight and then it stopped. So I went up and I went up and I went up. Some people are overdosing on the stuff. Come on. And look, I get it. I would love to look like one of these celebrities who could wear one of these gowns. I mean, these people look amazing, but they also look like they're starving. They also don't look very happy. They look like they're sucking in their stomach. They're sucking in their cheeks. They can't look at any food. They're worried they're going to have a wardrobe malfunction, which I hear keeps happening, where people's boobs fall out of their dress. Come on. So for those of you that are starting to notice, look, I'm losing weight, but the face is looking different. The feet are looking different. My bowels are whatever. Just have a doctor take a look at you. All right. Make sure you're doing it right. Make sure you're also not losing muscle. If you start to lose muscle, you're going to look very gaunt. You're also not going to lose your metabolism, and you're not going to be able to keep your metabolism up. So definitely make sure that you are on top of that. And, losing weight is not just one thing. Now, mind you, I'm still struggling. I'm losing, but menopause did a number on me. I lost all the kids' baby weight. I was always kind of, curvy, but I was never obese. And then all of a sudden I get my first hot flash, and boy, did I start gaining weight. And I'm like, what the hell happened to me? So it's exercise, it's building muscle, it's doing strength training, it's always moving, it's not sitting, it's avoiding sugar, avoiding fat, avoiding diet sodas and sugar substitutes, avoiding alcohol, having positive body image, drinking fluid, and not following and becoming victim and suckered into fad diets. So, 1-877-DOC-DALIAH, 1-877-DOC-DALI. One of our listeners wants to know how to pay for it if insurance doesn't cover it. Talk to your medical provider. If you do have diabetes or pre-diabetes, that might be an easier way to go than weight loss. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Hi guys, Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Diesel fuel cetane levels.
the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOCDALI. So, anytime I travel, to another country, okay? And I know you might think this is really nerdy, but I read the country's rules as much as I can. Because I don't want to just travel to another country, Germany, Mexico, Israel, whatever, just to find out that I could be detained. I mean, look at what happened, with, as we've seen, in the news the last few years, whether it was shell casings in somebody's carry-on because they didn't clean out their carry-on bag, or a marijuana vape pen or whatever. And, even though, yes, you could also be at risk of somebody planting something on you. For the most part, I want to read the rules and I want to know that I'm not going to make a mistake. When I was in Israel in the 90s, because my name is very, Israeli, they wouldn't let me board the plane. And they were interviewing one of my family members because they wanted to make sure I wasn't trying to evade military duty. And so even though that didn't necessarily have to do with deportation, I was a visitor there. They held me for a while. And then my uncle's like, no, here's her papers. She's American. Trust me, she'll talk too much. You don't want her on the front line. And I remember I was detained for a while until they finally let me go, because they didn't know if I was pretending to be American. And once they confirmed it, I was able to go back. I was going to UNLV at the time, and I didn't, you don't have the internet. I don't have any cell phone, so I can't show them. All I had was a passport, which should have been enough, but it was fascinating how they were like, but every country has rules, and they want to make sure that whoever is in that country is following the rules. And if you did go to any of these countries illegally, many of them, if you look at the rules, they're kicking you out or you're getting arrested. Now, here we are with America, and people are very split on whether we need to be nicer than other countries or as strict as other countries. Okay? We don't want to imprison, the average person that snuck over the border. It was illegal, but we would rather they leave. Okay? You came here illegally, go back. We want to be here for refugees. We want to be here for asylum seekers. We want to provide home, food, funding, care for their kids as a benefit to those who really need to escape, where they're living. However, we can't do that for the whole world. Years ago, Hillary Clinton, because her husband, Bill Clinton, was very, very strong on immigration. I think he passed a law in 1996 that was very strict on how you could be here illegally, and how deportation will ensue. And she had said that if somebody should be fined as well when she was I think running for office. I think she was running for. I forget what this was, but the discussions, just like with marijuana, have changed throughout the years. Where now the discussion is, well, if somebody got here illegally, they should get the credit and they should get to stay and, get government funds. And it was such an unpopular concept that that's what launched Trump into office. So now what do we do with the millions of people that got here illegally? Well, if you are Tren de Aragua or MS-13 or a gang or a criminal, or somebody that raped and killed, not only are you out of here, but we got to make sure that you don't ever come back and commit a crime here. And if other countries don't want them, that's why Trump is like, well, do we, do Alcatraz? Do we do, where do we put him? What about those individuals that don't have a criminal history, that got here illegally? So deporting them is what any other country would do. But what America is going to do now is offer to pay them $1,000 so they have working money and pay for their plane ticket home. Now, I know people are going, oh, my God, now the government's spending again. They say it's still going to be cheaper than having them here using government subsidies, et cetera. And so one of let me read you from the Department of Homeland Security. DHS launches the CBP home app. Coming from Secretary Homeland Security Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security is launching the Customs Border Patrol, that's my guess, CBP, home app with a self-deportation reporting feature for aliens illegally in the country. Aliens should use the CBP home mobile phone app, submit their intent to deport as indicated below. So you say, I would like to deport. They say it's the safest option because it also allows, us to pay for your flight. 2, you get money to leave. And then if you did do this, you will have an option to come back as opposed to us deporting you and say no. Now, so they're giving people a mulligan with this app. Now, I know some people are like, well, wait a second. Do I want to be on a list? Now I'm on a list. Should I just sneak back on my own and never be on a list? Or do I just stay and hope I never get deported? So the Department of Homeland Security says the safest thing to do is this, because if you're trying to sneak back across the border, how dangerous can that be with cartels and traffickers and all that? If you try to stay in America and you don't self-deport, well, now you've lost the opportunity for us to pay for you to go. And, if you are found, that this was criminally, you could go to jail. So they're not wrong about this being the safest way for you to go back to your country of origin with a plane ticket, so you don't have to travel across the desert or jungle, etc. And you get some money to go. But I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to be on a list. So I don't want anybody knowing that I was here because then I am admitting guilt. But what the Trump administration has shown within the first 100 days is they can find you fairly easily. And also, if they do feel you have a criminal background, they could put you away. And that is frightening to some. Hillary Clinton had years ago campaigned on that they should be fined, for every day that they're here. And they should. The problem with the fines is, and so you see Democrats and Republicans have been, kind of, wrestling with this for decades on what to do. It's just these individuals won't pay the fine. And so, scaring them, well, you're going to have then a credit problem or you'll owe us money. That doesn't seem to scare them as much. Yeah, they're so they're not going to want to self-deport based on, well, they're going to fine me. So are they going to fine me with the tax dollars I'm using? So Democrats and Republicans have been struggling with this. The problem we had is the last 4 years let millions in. That was very unpopular. It ticked a lot of people off. And now it's on the Trump administration to then deport them all. And it's, again, it's not easy. Being a daughter of an immigrant, who it took us 20 years, my family, 20 years to finally get access. They waited in Israel. They were grateful that Israel provided them safety from, the Holocaust, but they escaped there. And then in the 1960s, America finally honored a visa for my family to come. Took them 20 years, but they waited. They were more patient than, my father finished his military duty, comes over. He learns the language, takes the test, becomes a U.S. citizen, and then supports his family, and the family worked. Now, maybe that's not the way people do it anymore. Maybe, they don't want to, take the test and all that. But, my family wanted to do it right because they never wanted to be deported. So we'll see what happens with this and how many people sign up to get the deal. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, And nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.